podcast. I'm your girl, Adi 3000. This is episode 22. This is WTW Radio and WTW TV. Thank you to everybody who tunes in each and every single Saturday. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys know how much this means to me, especially if you're a fan of the show. If you're new to the show, this is your first time watching the Ambition Hour podcast, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is WTW TV, as well as the other social platforms that we have the Ambition Hour podcast on, like Apple Music and also SoundCloud. All right, so make sure you guys go check that out. Thank you guys for, just always tuning in. And I just want you guys to make sure that you guys are on the lookout, because we're having another podcast that will be launching on the channel, on the WTW TV channel. It's going to be hosted by the boys, and it's called Worthy Conversations. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, so that way when it posts, it's up. And you guys can go ahead and show them love. We've been doing 22 episodes of the Ambition Hour podcast, and we felt that it was, a good time to just bring out another podcast onto the channel. So you guys get to know more of the artists. You get to know us a little more on a different level. The Ambition Hour is very versatile. As you guys have seen, we do interviews, we play music, we have DJs. We are traveling. It's very versatile, and it isn't very limited to just one thing, and that's awesome. But it's also, the Ambition Hour. So we're just going to be having another show, which is awesome, because that means that the label and the company is moving in the right direction. And that's thanks to you guys, for always showing support, for liking, for being subscribed to the YouTube channel. I want to say thank you for that. Last night, we had the opportunity to go to Mr. Feelgood, aka Flight, from OneWay. We went to his single release party at the Villa Bar, and it was just so much fun. So much people showed love, so much people showed up, showed out. I'm wearing my OneWay shirt today. I told him yesterday, I'm gonna wear the shirt on the episode tomorrow, and then just show love, because OneWay was on episode 5 of the Ambition Hour, guys. Episode 5 was such a long time ago, and it's crazy that him and OneWay were special guests on that episode. And it was so much fun because we got to see so many different people, new people. We got to see old faces, and it was awesome. We also got to see WTW FAM, Ambition Hour podcast fam, like Hot Wheels, who pulled up episode 8 on us, no wheelchair, nothing, no excuses. And then we've also had Flyboy with Too Many Wives, who's been on episode 5 with Flight, and Dex also, who's also part of the OneWay family. And we also got to see Stephania, Shave Chris. We got to see some other artists that were just there, vibing. We got to meet new people. Shout out to everybody that I got to meet at the single release party. It was a pleasure meeting you, as always. And I just want to wish the most success to Flight, because I feel like I'm part of the journey with you, because you are like family to us, and you are the Ambition Hour podcast family. So we wish you nothing but success. We want you with Grammys, taking your mama as your date to the Grammy. We want all of that for you. So just go out there and get it, okay? It's yours. I want to get a quick, because something big did happen in hip hop. And I hate to do a transition like that, but I would like to, have a moment of silence for XXXTentacion. We did talk about him, and I'll talk a little bit more after, once we have this little moment of silence. I just want to. We definitely pay our respects, to his family and everyone that around him and his fans, because I can just only imagine if one of my favorite artists were to pass away, how I would feel, especially as obsessive as I am as a lot of my favorite artists. So I can just imagine how it would be for a 14-year-old who likes this artist and they pass away, you know. And it's not, and it wasn't like nothing like normal. It was like got assassinated, you know, in his hometown. And it turns out that, you know, the person who shot him had been watching him, had been following him. And it kind of makes you feel like, whoa, is this type of society that we're living in, that we can't even be in our own neighborhoods and or even our own cities and just feel safe? You know, we have to constantly be looking, you know, behind our backs. And unfortunate for him, you know, he was only 20 years old, so his life was cut pretty short. Because looking back, when I was 20, I was a hot mess. When I was 20 I was yeah, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us were. There's a post on social media that has been circling around about like how Maya Angelou was a prostitute when she was 20 years old and a single mother, you know, Maya Angelou. And how Malcolm X, you know, he had his offenses, and then it sucks that people are holding that against him as to say like, oh, well, he did this. Because we did talk about this on the show. We talked about this on episode 20, the article that the Miami New Times came out with, which was basically the whole thing about, you know, him allegedly beating his girl and just being, you know, very aggressive and, you know, always threatening to, you know, basically like kill himself. And something that Snoop Dogg said is that he stopped talking about like death and like murder cases because he felt like that was being brought onto him. And not that this is what this dude was doing, but that I just wanted to point that out, because it's something as an artist that you have to also be mindful, because we are the creators of our future, you know. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, I listen to his music, he's one of my favorite artists, I knew about him. I want to pay my respects to him because we did talk about him on the show, and I was able to, you know, appreciate who he was and what he's been doing for the youth. And he got so much respect, and I respect that, you know. I'm not gonna bash him, like, no, like, you know, rest in peace, you know, like my dog Tentacion came in the room wilding like, you know. It's just it's a moment in hip-hop that, you know, we've been through. It's, you know, artists pass away, like Aaliyah's passed away, Tupac was another artist that has gotten assassinated, and so like basically like Biggie and Pac, like that's crazy. And this also is just interesting because people are comparing XXXTentacion to Tupac, and it's interesting to hear that. I would like to know why people are saying that, besides the obvious, like, oh, because he got shot. I want to really know why that comparison is even, you know, being mentioned. And so please just go ahead and drop a comment about that. I would love to hear your guys' input on that, because I don't know. So I want you to let me know. I'm really curious as to see if that comparison why that comparison is even coming up. That's all I want to know. Okay, so something that I did notice about the XXXTentacion passing is that his streaming went all the way up. Like, the number that I saw was unbelievable on how much people have been streaming his music. On Apple, 16 of his songs were in the 36 of the top songs on Apple Music. And that's just Apple Music alone. We haven't even gotten into the other social media sites that have done that. I think that is amazing, because the streams, I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming that streams are paying if they're that important. That's all I'm saying. If we really caring about streams right now, that means that streams are what paying. I remember for like Michael Jackson and artists like that, it was royalties. I don't know if that's the same. If you do know what's the difference, can you please let me know, because I would love to know. I'm gonna have to get a guest on the show. So I need to see who knows the questions that I'm asking. If you have the answers to them, I need you on the show, because I got some questions that I might need for you to answer for me. But yeah, so the streaming is awesome, and hopefully, you know, that money does go to his family, because I feel like that's who deserves it. So streaming, I think, is cool. To me, what I always grew up learning about was royalties in music, and I wish that in hip-hop it would be used more, because I feel that when it comes to hip-hop is one of the biggest mainstreams of music. Everybody listens to hip-hop. And so royalties need to be important because royalties are what give you and leave you a legacy. You know what I mean? It leaves your family good. So when you're gone, they're good. That's what you want, you know, and you want your kids to like be on the Forbes list, like your grandkids and stuff. And, you know, shout out to Beyonce for that line. We're going to talk about that album later. And you guys know that on the Ambition Hour podcast, we always have a question of the week. Yes, it's about that time. It's the question of the week. Last week's question was, is it possible to really have a platonic relationship? And I'm pretty sure it was like a high number of yes, and then, you know, so it was yes. And I find it amazing that so many people said yes, because we live in a generation that people are just like trying to have sex. Yeah. Even your friends, like your friends, you can't trust them. Some of them, when it comes to that, because you don't know if they're just being like that because they want some. You know what I mean? So it's hard for a girl like myself. Like, I'm around a lot of dudes, and you know, I maintain that platonic relationship because it's just kind of like, you're my friend. Like, I enjoy being around you as my friend, and whether it's forced or not, I just feel like it's a cool thing to have, ladies. So don't be afraid to have a platonic relationship with a dude, because he's gonna be the one who's gonna tell you what's up. Homeboy's fucking up. Or he's gonna keep it real with you, and then you can go out on, like, you can go eat with them, and it's not like a thing. It's just like you just chilling, like you're just chilling with your homeboy. Like, obviously, like my friends that are platonic, I've known them for a very, very long time, so it's not like a new thing. You know what I mean? Like, now it's more like the dudes that I'm meeting, they're more acquaintances, but I do have platonic relationships, and I think that that's very healthy. So yeah. But the question of the week for this week was, which one you fucking with? Nasir or Everything Is Love? If you guys didn't know, Nas dropped an album last week, which was June 15th, and if I'm not mistaken, Everything Is Love is the album by Jay-Z and Beyonce, you guys. They dropped an album together. Do you know how long I've been waiting for this? Like, forever, since Crazy in Love. Like, and it's crazy that I think Crazy in Love has been out probably like 20 years. I'm probably exaggerating. Don't quote me on that number. But, and then like now they drop an album. But thank you. Like, I've had a chance to talk about, like, I've had a chance to listen to it. And we are going to get into that because I definitely am feeling it. So Nasir got 24%. Which is the Nas album, and Everything Is Love got 76%. Now I want to give a quick shout out to John Fifth, because I did see this little poll on his Instagram, and I wanted to know, like, on mine, he told me that Nas was winning on his, and then when I see my numbers and it says 76%, I'm like, well, what does that say about like my fans or like my followers? I guess y'all love Beyonce. That's what's up, though. Well, Beyonce and Jay-Z, which makes sense because I also love them. I did get to listen to the Nasir album because I really wanted to hear what he had to say. A lot of the internet was talking mad crap. Like, why y'all always do that? Like, y'all need to relax. Like, you need to let these people just put music out. Shit. And they always gotta attach it to something. They always have to attach it to, like, oh, well, he's working with Kanye. Or like, come on, you guys, let it go. It's okay. And so this is the first project that Nas has dropped since Life Is Good, which dropped in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, or 6 years ago. And this album was recorded in the Jackson Hole in Wyoming, which is Kanye's studio that he got out there, you know, to record all of these dope ass albums that have been dropping. We had Pusha T, we had the Ye album, we had Nas dropped an album, then the Kid Cudi and Kanye dropped an a duo album, and then Nas dropped an album. Tiana Taylor just dropped her album, and all of that music is coming from the Jackson Hole, you know, that in Kanye's studio, and I think that's awesome. Little side note, I haven't gotten a chance to, I've listened to the Tiana Taylor album. It took them a while to post it, but I'll definitely be talking about it next week, so make sure that you listen to the album, make sure that you vibe with it, let me know which one are your favorite tracks so we can talk about it next week. You know, I love me some Tiana Taylor, and what I've heard is bomb. So make sure that you listen to that. So it's executive produced by Kanye West. So it was, to my understanding, what happened was that Kanye wanted to executive produce a Nas project, and he got it. I think that's awesome. Like, that's amazing. Of course, as every single album that has been dropping from Good Music that has been executive produced by Kanye has been having a listening party, which I think is dope, because all of the footage that I've been seeing of the listening parties have been pretty cool. I just recently saw some for the Tiana Taylor, and it was cool. Kimmy was out there. Kimmy was out there. And so was Lala. And for the Nas album, they did the listening party at Queensbridge, New York. It was streamed on Mass Appeal's YouTube. And I think that's pretty cool. I think, everybody goes to go show love. Everybody listens to the album. I feel like that's something that, was needed again in hip hop, that kind of like unison of like, yo, we're having an album release party. And I think that's beautiful. I did get a chance to listen to the album. Like I said earlier, I like it. It's pretty good. One of the things that I liked was, one of the songs was Cops Shot the Kids. Because it has samples from Slick Rick, so automatically I'm like, ooh, I'm already like, you got me. And Nas is bae, guys. I love me some Nas. Ever since Belly, like, I don't know, he just did something to me that he got my heart forever. So I had to listen to this album alone just because of that reason. But he does have he does have a good message in the music. I don't feel that he has changed as an artist. Not changed in as like he sold out and he's like doing mainstream. I mean like that he hasn't changed, like that, in that sense, that he hasn't changed and done that. But he has evolved as a lyricist because he's older now. He has more experience in wordplay, and he has experienced a little bit more just in life in general. And I feel that that's something that is needed in hip hop. We need these, legends in the game to be putting out this music, so the youngins know what's up. And so for him to have a sample of a Slick Rick song is awesome, because it's also showing this generation that like, look, listen, this is also what's part of this music. And I feel like that's so important in hip hop, because you wouldn't know how great Pac was if you didn't know how great how great another artist was. Like, for example, I would say like maybe like a Rakim, or like a LL Cool J, or even like other Bay Area artists like Ice-T or Ice Cube, or even Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is a very good artist. And just like, you just kind of have to know that history, or like even the people that started hip hop back in the 80s, like, we have to know that. We have to know our history in the music. And I remember just growing up always knowing about that, because that's something that hip hop always taught me about the history of music and how hip hop got started. And so I love that he's doing that. Like, yes, do all of that. He also has a dialogue from Wat Stacks by Richard Pryor. I automatically, as soon as it like cuts into like the thing, and then like he starts off talking, and then I automatically knew who it was. Why? Because I grew up listening to Richard Pryor's voice, so I automatically can distinguish his voice. I can't tell you that I've watched all of his stand-ups, but I do know who he is. I have heard like his little dialogues here and there. I've seen snippets, so I knew automatically who it was, and I love that, because that's something else that is important for the youth to know, and I'm glad that Nas is taking this moment to do that, that he has this stature in hip hop, and he has a voice, and he's using it. So shout out to him. We're gonna go down real quick through the set list, the track list. We have Not For Radio, which is featuring Puff Daddy and 070 Shake. I feel like she's been on 070 Shake. First, I love that it says Puff Daddy and not P. Diddy on Wikipedia. At least this is where I got the track list from. Shout out to Wikipedia, giving your girl the knowledge that she needs sometimes. And 070 Shake, I think she's been featured in almost every single project that has been dropped for the past couple of weeks. I'm not sure if she's on the Tiana Taylor. I didn't really see too many features on the Tiana Taylor album. Then again, I heard some other voices, so I'm gonna definitely look into that. We're gonna be talking about that album next week, so I'm just excited it's out because my girl's time. Shout out to the queen. I really like the song. I love how it starts off. I love the message. It's very versatile. And then so Kanye, he did executive produce this album, so all of the tracks are executive produced by him. The second track is Cop Shot the Kid, which is the one with the Slick Rick sample. This one is featuring Kanye West, which makes sense because, you know, if you're gonna sample a dope ass beat like that, Kanye, I feel you. I would get on the beat too. I will hop on that thing real quick too. I don't blame you. And so that's a good song. Like I said, you guys definitely need to hear that one. And then White Label comes in next. This one, it's written by Nas and it's, of course, it's executive produced by Kanye, so he's going to be on all of those things. And then he has Bonjour featuring Tony Williams. I just want to go ahead and say that I'm really bad at knowing names of songs. But I have heard the entire album, and I really, really like it. Kanye's featured 2 times. I noticed also that The Dream was featured on it 2 times. In The Dream, hello, shorty hit 10, ayy, a 10, shorty she a 10, ayy, and then she rockin' that thing like, ooh, what? My dog Nas got The Dream on his album 2 times. That's awesome. He has them on the song called Everything, which is The Dream and Kanye West. And then Adam and Eve, and it's featuring The Dream. As soon as I heard The Dream's voice, I was like, yes. Whoever idea was to bring The Dream on, thank you. I appreciate you. We needed The Dream back. And then Simple Things to end off the project. Make sure that you go ahead and listen to it. The followers did. It was 24% for Nazir, and Everything Is Love got 76%. So, of course, as soon as I found out that Everything Is Love was out, I was like, wait a minute. They really dropped an album together. They dropped a video, and we're gonna talk about the video a little bit later because we're jumping into this album because I have listened to it multiple times. So Everything Is Love is the first project, and it's not by Jay-Z and Beyonce. You can't search. Well, you can, but the correct name is The Carters. The Carters. Or The Carters. The Carters. Carter baby. You know, shit like that. Okay, so it's the first project that Jay-Z and Beyonce have ever dropped together. It was released June 16, 2018, which was last week on Saturday. I was at the wedding. I was definitely at the wedding at that time, so I did not know that they dropped an album. But I'm really happy that I was able to find out, and then I got to listen to it at the time that I did because I appreciate it a lot more. The album features additional vocals by Quavo and Offset of Migos. Shout out to Migos. I love them. Ty Dolla $ign and Pharrell. I'm so happy that Ty Dolla $ign is on there. Love that Pharrell is working on the album because Pharrell and Jay-Z make magic, of course, and it shows in the album. At the end of the second, so I want to read this to you guys because I thought this was crazy how they announced this. First of all, Cool and Dre did an article. Cool and Dre are producers in the album. Shout out their home team. They're Miami. We're gonna give them their shine a little bit later. But yes, so Cool and Dre did like an interview, and they basically said that Jay-Z and Beyonce, they worked on an album half an hour before showtime, and then they released the album three hours later. And this is how they announced it. At the end of their second show at London Stadium in London, on June 16, 2018, Beyonce announced to the crowd that the duo had a surprise before leaving the stage. Then, the music video for Ape Shit played on the LED video screen on stage. Following the conclusion of the video, the words "Album Out Now" came across the screen. Everything Is Love was subsequently released exclusively via Jay-Z's streaming service Tidal. All audience members received a free 6-month trial subscription in order to be able to stream the album. Hello. This is the first album by Beyonce that was made available across all platforms since 4, which is actually. However, Spotify has made the album available to premium members only until July 2nd, 2018. So, imagine going to a concert of one of your favorite artists. These tickets for these concerts are not cheap. So these people are paying big money to see these people. And Jay-Z and Beyonce are performing for 3 hours at these stadiums. What? And then they drop an album that they just finished like wrapping up, and then they drop a video for it. Like, come on. Come on. You're not going to tell me that you can't respect this. That's insane. They recorded this and they dropped it 3 hours later. That's probably how long it took for it to compress into an MP3 so they can put it everywhere and post it everywhere. That's crazy. We're gonna go straight into this track list because it's beautiful. The first track comes in with Summer. It's the writers are Beyonce, Sean Carter, which is Jay-Z. We have Cool, and then we have Dre. And we also have some other writers in there. James Fauntleroy. I love this dude. His voice is amazing. I was really excited to see his name on this track list because I love him. And it was produced by Beyonce, Jay-Z, Cool and Dre, and L. Michaels. What? Yo, shout out to Bay for out here producing, you know, Beyonce, you know, Jay-Z and Beyonce track. Shout out to Dre. He's like my husband in my head. And then we also, okay, so then the next track is Ape Shit. Oh, Summer is very love song. It's very it's like sexy, like it's basically like talking about like, you know, making love on the beach and shit. So that's pretty cool. And then Ape Shit, which is the single, besides Salud, which is like a Tidal exclusive only. I'm about to get my 6-month trial to Tidal. Plus, the boys are also on Tidal, so I might have to jump on there and, you know, get on some Tidal. If you have Tidal, let me know if you like it. Let me know like how to like, you know, work it so I know what I'm doing. Ape Shit is the one that they premiered the video at the concert before they, you know, announced that they were dropping an album. And Ape Shit has the video and they shot it at the Louvre. What? The Louvre. We're gonna get into that a little later, but they shot the video already. The video is dope. This song is written with Pharrell, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Quavo, and Offset. So they're all writers in this song, and then you hear their voices, and then I thought that was so cool that they had, and it was just like ad-libs. It was nothing like, you know, Quavo and Offset were on here, you know, just, you know, rapping verses and shit. No, it was more like they were just doing ad-libs. I'm mad that they ain't got my boy Takeoff on there though. From Dog Takeoff. Oh man, he also got left off Ape Shit, unfortunately. I love you, Takeoff, though. Like you're you know, you're cool. I just noticed that like I kind of like dissed him, but then I love him. One of my favorite songs comes up next in this Boss. Ugh. Just, you gotta listen to that song. Like that one's dope. And then Nice, which is with Pharrell, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. That's a really dope song. It's produced by them as well. 713 is another one. And that's also produced by Cool and Dre. Shout out to Cool and Dre. Yes. 713 is we're gonna get into the ones that I really want to talk about. So we're just gonna go down the track list, and then we have Friends. A lot of these songs have really deep messages, so I recommend you listening to it over and over again. It's only 38 minutes. Like 38 minutes, you can listen to that over and over again. You can get the album and understand it. I'm glad that artists are doing this because this gives them an opportunity to record an entire project. What? Imagine going to your favorite artist like concert and they perform every single track off of the project that they have. Like, come on, that's dope. They also have Heard About Us. That's one of my, I love Heard About Us because Beyonce's talking about taking Duce to the face. That's how we feeling, B. That's how we feeling. And then Black Effect, which is also another song that is produced by Cool and Dre. They're also writers. And I read in an article that Beyonce was very hands-on on the entire project with them, and that she was very collaborative with them. And I love that because because I just love Cool and Dre. Like, I grew up listening to their music, you know, the music that they produce, you know, being from Miami. It was just like, you listen to their music and you see their come up, and it's awesome for them. I'm really happy for them, you know. And then they end the album with Love Happy, which is a beautiful song as well. Love Happy and 713, those songs are the ones I'm gonna be breaking down because I love them. Like, Love Happy has a part from Ode to Hip Hop by Erykah Badu and Common. As soon as I heard it, I was just like, what? Yes. I love when artists do that, like when they just kind of like take like almost your favorite part of a song and then they use it in their song but in their own way, and then they kind of like do a little quick transition. I really like that. It's pretty it's pretty cool because you get to see like, oh, okay, so he probably likes Common, or he liked how Common delivered that, and I like that. And it is also a line that has Beyonce where she states Hova Beezus watch the thrones. And so I searched to see what it was and why, you know, what is the meaning of that line according to Rap Genius. So it says Beezus is a play on Kanye West's famous reimagining of the name Jesus, first popularized with his 2013 album Yeezus. Beyonce asserts that she has indeed replaced Ye's position at Jay-Z's right-hand man. Watch the Throne is the title of Jay and Kanye's 2011 collaborative album, and so she's basically like using that, like, you know, one of the things that I always see is that like that lyric, to me, that's what it's meaning there, and then there's a lot more that it's just like I don't agree with it, so I'm not gonna really read the rest. But to me, it's just that, like, bro, if you think about it, Beyonce is a legend in the music industry. Like, she's one of those artists that you're going to hear about forever. You're probably going to have your kids that are going to like it, or your mom likes it. You know, like, it's just Beyonce's just one of those artists that she's just gonna be she's always gonna be around, and I'm happy about that. And Jay-Z is also one of those artists because he is one of the biggest artists in hip-hop, so he's always going to have that. And so we're all kings and queens. I'm not saying that they're the king and queen of like music, but you know, they're also building a kingdom. You know, they have their own thrones, and then it's kind of like she's playing into that, and I don't feel like it's a diss. I just feel like it's a line, like, yo, me and my man, like, you know, you and him got your thing going on. You guys did what you guys did, and that's what's up. But like, you know, this is also something that I'm doing with my husband. Like, bro, y'all need to relax. 713, which is also another song that was produced by Cool and Dre. It has a part from The Light by Common. I love that. I love that. That's it. It's 2 times that that Jay used Common, and I love that because it's like I said, it's just cool to know that he listens to an artist that I really love, and that he also respects him enough to, you know, use like the wordplay that he uses, and I think that's pretty cool. It's it's what's up. You know, it's also like a play into, like how I said earlier, like just the samples of the songs and, you know, things like that. There's something that I wanted to share with you guys was that Nice is one of the songs on the album, and it has an X, and like it's not an expert because it's not, they didn't take it from the movie, but she uses it, and she's like, fuck you, you cool, fuck you. And so that comes basically from the movie Half Baked. If you watch the movie, then you know. You know what I'm talking about. It's a dude, he basically quits his job, and that's how he leaves. Like, talk about mood and goals, yes. And so, and then it brought an interesting question to me. Like, does Beyonce smoke? Because, I mean, yeah, you know about that movie, but why you know about that movie, Beyonce? Like, I want to know, like, drop it in the comments. Do you think that Beyonce's like out here, like, you know, smoking J's to the face and shit? Like, her and like Jay-Z, like, have the kids with the nannies while they go to the rooftop of their yacht and shit. and just like smoke a big one, like in the middle of the world, wherever they may be, because they're always traveling. Like, talk about goals. And then it's crazy how people still find them. Like, no matter how much money you have, sometimes privacy, you can't pay for privacy, and that sucks that we live in that world. But going back to Ape Shit, which the video was shot at the Louvre in Paris. But I heard that like you can't just like rent out this museum, like, and there's only certain times that you can rent out the museum. So it's like, wait, how? Like, to me, I was just like, well, they got money, they can do that. Like, whatever. I always think that listen, everything has a price. If you want to record, you know, something somewhere, you can record it. Like, you know, the reason why they were able to get to shoot the video at the museum was because they had been visiting the museum a couple of times. This is something that's somebody from the museum said. Beyonce and Jay-Z visited the Louvre 4 times in the last 10 years. During their last visit in May 2018, they explained their idea of filming. The deadlines were very tight, but the Louvre was quickly convinced because the synopsis showed a real attachment to the museum and its beloved artworks. The video for the single was shot at the Louvre in Paris in May. The video is a stunning 6 minutes of splendor and that features Bey in so many incredible looks. Bruh, you guys gotta watch that video because everything is beautiful. The visual features several gorgeous dancers wearing nude outfits and moving in unison, and plenty of shot of the striking artwork from Da Vinci to the Carters, ending the video by staring at the Mona Lisa. But they have a video with the Mona Lisa in it. Like, I'm sure that they paid like a good little pretty dollar for it, but it's worth it because that video is so freaking good. Okay, so make sure that you check it out, especially because Madonna's Cool and Dre produced 3 tracks on the well, it's 4 tracks, but 3 tracks are exclusively everywhere. They executive produced on the album. Well, no, they produced on the album. They're producers on the album. They have 3 songs on the album. They worked. We talked about this earlier, that they worked an hour and a half before showtime, which I think is still crazy. The 3 hours after like they finished the final vocals, they dropped it. If you don't know, Cool, it goes by his real name is Marcelo Antonio Valenciano, and Andre Christopher Lyon is Dre. I think Cool is Colombian, shout out, and you know, shout out Latino, Latinos in the hip hop game. And then Dre, he's Jamaican. So yeah, if you didn't know, they started with the Fat Joe Terror Squad. They were the producers on one of the most infamous songs, like New York, by you know, Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and it's one of those songs that you like will always go down in history. They have worked with Lil Wayne, The Game, Queen Latifah, Ja Rule, Rick Ross, Wale, Remy Ma, Kendrick Lamar, DJ Khaled, and more. Their work has sold over 75 million records worldwide, you guys. And something else that I want to go ahead, this is just me knowing who they are, and like I don't even gotta look at notes for that. They were the producers on Move on Top, I'm Gonna Shine. Okay, Envy Me. Rap's Most MVP. They produced that song. Also Rodeo by Juvenile. Also Slow Motion by Juvenile. Slow motion for me. I like it like that. She working that background. Know how to act. Hey. All right. Let me not get distracted because I'll dance all episode. So I just want to go ahead and point this out because nowhere did I see that my babe went and like recorded this album. Like, I follow Dre, I follow you on social media, and I did not one time see you talking about you going to Paris and London and all these places that the news is claiming that you were at. You know what I mean? Like, but shout out to you for being able to do that. I'm so happy for them. Like, I am so happy for them. They're Miami, their home team. I grew up listening to all their music that they've been producing, so I'm happy to see them on this project, on the very first Jay-Z and Beyonce project. You know, like, shout out to you. Like I said, if you haven't heard the album, go check it out. I already pointed out the little things that I like. The lyrics are dope. The stuff that I talk about, like about comment and stuff, I wanted to share that with you guys because that's something that is important to me, that I feel that you know, like if you don't know, I would like to, you know, teach you. And then if you see anything else in the album that you would like to teach me, please go ahead and DM me, leave a comment. You know, if you got my number, text me. We'll talk about it all day. I don't mind. We'll even bring you on the show if you want. So also they have their own, Cool and Dre have their own like record company. It's called Epidemic, so shout out to that. Now we talked a little bit about Kanye earlier. You know, he's out here executive producing albums and shit, and just, you know, moving hip hop forward, and I appreciate that. He was at Virgils' first Louis Vuitton show in Paris, which was the first time that Kim was in Paris since the time that she, you know, that she had her robbery. Virgil became the artistic director of Louis Vuitton menswear collection in 2018. So this was, if I'm not mistaken, in March. So it was a very big, you know, move for him. It's Louis Vuitton. Why wouldn't you want to work for Louis Vuitton? Get to travel the world, style clothes, style artists, just, you know, be living that. That's just cool. And I also found out that he and Kanye were interns at Fendi in 2009, and that's how they got to meet each other. And that's why I want to give you guys a little bit of a background as to why I'm kind of like making it important that Kanye was at the show, because it was so, the social media made it seem like, you know, Virgil and Kanye just like had this beef because Virgil decided to go work for Louis Vuitton, which I think is a really good opportunity, and you should want them, you know, to do that. He also graduated from University of Wisconsin in 2002 and the Illinois Institute of Tech in 2006 with degrees in civil engineering and architecture. So he didn't even go to school for what he's doing right now. That's pretty cool. He was the artistic director of Watch the Throne. And he's also in Times Magazine Top 100 Most Influential People, which is pretty cool because not everybody makes that list, and he was able to make that list. So I think that's pretty cool. As far as like this whole beef that's going on, the Virgil and Kanye beef is basically because they have this brand called Off-White or something like that, and then there's just like it's just like drama. But with the video that I saw of like Kanye like hugging Virgil at the end of the like his show, I thought was so beautiful, and it was so genuine, and they were both crying. And I feel that the media tries to portray something that it's not, and I don't think that that's fair to the artists and then the people that are like just out here just trying to live a normal life and, you know, chase their dreams. So I'm very happy for Virgil, and I'm very happy that Kanye was there, especially with all the moves that Kanye is making. For him to be able to make it to the, you know, the show, I thought was beautiful. And the fact that they shared that moment together made it even more special, because they have known each other for a long time, and no matter what, they're there for each other. And I feel that that's very admirable. Yes, queen. Shout out to SZA, who was inducted into her high school's Hall of Fame. I think that is so cool, and I really want to know how can I get inducted into y'all school Hall of Fame? Please let me know. I think I should be a part of it. Do you guys think that I should be a part of my high school's, like, you know, Hall of Fame? I do. So the school that she went to was Columbia High School in Maplewood. One of the things that I really liked about the article that I read was that they said that she encouraged daydreaming, saying it's where you find the details and the inner workings of yourself and what you actually want to do. Daydreaming is actually where this whole thing starts, which I agree with, because I remember daydreaming about this all the time growing up and never letting that go, and then just always being like, one day. And now look at me. And I look at her. So that's why I understand why she says that, and then I'm happy that she gave that message. You know, unfortunately, something with her voice is permanently injured. I feel that she's been performing for such a long time. Well, her album dropped a year ago, which was a really good album, and you know, her voice has been like permanently injured. I just want to like send my kindest regards to her, because that must not be easy, because your voice is one of the most important things, especially when you're a singer or a rapper or a podcaster. We need our voices. So, but yeah, so it was pretty cool. She says you have to pay attention to how God is working in your life. It starts with compassion. It starts with trusting yourself. Even if people are telling you you're too young to trust yourself. And I feel that a lot of people do that. SZA's induction follows that of Lauryn Hill, who was inducted in 1999. So she went to the same high school that Lauryn Hill went to, and so also AJ Calhoun or Calloway. He's from 106 Park. If you guys don't know what 106 Park is, you're too young, man. You're too young. 106 Park is one of the best shows ever. Look it up. Google it. You can Google anything. Just like some of these facts that I have for you guys today. So that was just pretty cool. I loved hearing that and knowing that, you know, she was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Shout out to her. And of course, she's the queen, so we had to shout her out because yes, queen, yes, you go, girl. Women empowerment, you heard. So I was in San Jose, California last week. Well, I was in the Bay Area last week. I was around a lot of family. It was awesome, a little overwhelming, but I loved being there. And I would ask a lot of my relatives the same question. I would ask them, how do they deal with overthinking? And I got some pretty cool answers, different from all of them. The reason why I asked the question of how you deal with overthinking is because that's something that I suffer. I overthink everything. I honestly just had a meal right now and I'm overthinking about everything. About, oh my God, what is my dad going to say? Oh my God, like I shouldn't have served myself this much. Oh no, you don't need to eat all of that. And I'm just like, it was just something quick to eat. This is why I grabbed it, you know. I'm just overthinking it, and that's something that I do want to let go. So I wanted to learn how other people deal with that. With one of the people that I asked was one of my cousins, and he told me, he's like, I think that overthinking is important because then you're mindless. You know, you don't really know what's going on. Then I had another cousin who told me that he lets whatever is go, and he lets it be in the past, and he keeps it moving, and it is what it is type of thing. And I appreciate that vibe. And then I also had another one that my aunt, who she was just kind of like, I really don't know how to answer that question because it's just something that we do, you know. And she's older, you know, she's my dad's youngest sister, and it was just interesting to know the dynamic of everybody and how they would feel about overthinking and how common it is in today's society for us human beings to be overthinking about every single situation. Sometimes your girl just has to relax because I'm overthinking so much. And that's my advice to you. For me, I feel the way that I deal with overthinking is that once I notice that I'm overthinking, to me, what happens when I overthink, I get anxiety. So that's a trigger of mine. Overthinking is a trigger to my anxiety. So once I acknowledge that, it allowed me to understand that once I start to feel this way, meaning once I start to see that I'm overthinking, I snap out of it so I can jump out of that mind state and get into the mind state that is going to further me. So instead of overthinking of, oh man, I shouldn't have ate this or X, Y, and Z, I should be thinking like, oh man, but this food is so good, you know? Like I have to like transition my mindset to do that, and it's hard, and I feel like it's a muscle that you have to continuously work on. That's why they say the mind is so important, and why you must constantly be feeding it the knowledge that it needs, so that way it can deal with certain circumstances and it can deal with what it is that you may be struggling with better as time progresses. Because as we grow as human beings, so do our minds, so should our minds. So that was just a question that I was really like, I loved, and I'm happy that I got to get, you know, different answers from everybody. And now for the closing of the Ambition Hour podcast, we have TGIA. Thank God I'm ambitious. So now, you know, this is the Ambition Hour podcast, so I had to bring on a TGIA, of course, for episode 22. This week's TGIA is basically, thank God I'm ambitious. You know how we always start the TGIA. If you can please let me know why you thank God you're ambitious in the comments below. Drop a comment and let me know why you thank God that you're ambitious. I thank God I'm ambitious because guess what? Last week I was on vacation. I was with my family. I didn't do any research. I didn't know really what to talk about on the episode, but somehow, some way, I had to get this episode done. I remember shooting last week's episode, like finally getting the time to finally shoot the show. I had been in San Jose from when I had been in the Bay Area, mind you, my flight to San Francisco, I missed. So I end up missing my flight, which is annoying because I just want to get there already. And so I end up missing my flight, and then I end up getting to like San Francisco like at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I lost probably like 2 hours of time that I could have been there. And it's just like, well, you should have relaxed and you should have just, you know, gone to where you needed to go, whatever. So that happens. The next day we end up shopping, the whole shebang. Don't get the episode done. The next day I'm like, but this episode needs to get done. I can't just not drop an episode. So this is why I thank God that I'm ambitious, because I said, you know what, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it a priority. It's going to be something that I have to do, so I'm going to do it. I ended up having my cousins on the show. I ended up having an audience for the first time that wasn't like the artist's crew. It was like people who probably have never watched the show, my family. I'm sure that they watched the show, but like it was different for them to see it in person. And I remember having a mind block, and I didn't know what to talk about, and I had to call my brother and I had to like tell him. And I'm happy that I did that, because I knew that calling him was going to help me, like, you know, because he's my accountability partner. And that's something that's very important, especially when you're an ambitious person, because sometimes as an ambitious person, you can be like, oh, well, because you are ambitious, you're just like, oh, well, I'll just, you know, when I get home, I'll just do this X, Y, and Z, or I'll just do it tomorrow. No, that's not how it should be done. Your ambition should not make it seem like you don't have to work. It's because it doesn't work that way. The fact that you're ambitious should mean that you just should be like, listen, we're going to figure it out. And that's why ambition is set on me, because you just always got to figure it out. You got to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you want to do, and you have to have that plan. You have to go ahead and execute it. Okay, so that's this week's TGIA. I just want to say thank you to everybody who tunes in to last week's episode and this week's episode. The boys are dropping a new video for First Thought, so it's gonna be a dope video. Yours truly shot some of it, so make sure that you check that out. This is episode 22 of the Ambition Hour podcast. I'm your girl Adi3000. Thank you to everybody who listened on SoundCloud and Apple, and everybody who watched this on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is WTW TV and WTW Radio for Apple and SoundCloud. I appreciate you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, and we out.